Welcome everyone to another game review. This time I was in the mood to play a winter sports game. You are probably asking why I'm playing this shit in spring. In my defense, it was still January when I recorded my footage, but because I'm lazy as fuck, you are only seeing this video now. Anyway, we are looking into Supreme Snowboarding from the year 99, developed by the Finnish company Housemarque. As far as I know, this game isn't really that popular. If you live in the States, then you might know it by the name Border Zone. How did I learn about this game? My father bought it for us way back when it came out. Not only that, I still own the original disc. My memories of this title are mostly positive, but I remember that it was very hard to master. As a child, I could never win a race. Let's see if things have changed now that I am an old boomer.
King! Could I have your autograph?
As the name suggests, this is a snowboarding game. The main focus is to get down the mountain in the first place. Just think about the SXX games from the PlayStation 2. The races will also be the main focus of this review. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Supreme Snowboarding offers 9 tracks for you to complete, divided into 3 different themes: Alpine, Forest and Village. These are also separated into 3 different difficulties: Easy, Normal and Hard. You're not changing the level of your AI components with those, and are instead different track variations of the currently selected theme. Once you have made your decision, the game moves on with the character selection. And while scrolling through them, I think we can all agree that there's only one real choice here. Last but definitely least is our board selection, and there I have to intervene. Do you see all the statistics next to the boards that are totally not balanced? Yes? Well, they are completely for the birds and have zero impact on the actual gameplay, according to the fan site supremesnowboarding.eu. Yes, this game is still a fan site running. I have no idea what went wrong in the development. Maybe a programmer forgot to set a variable to true, but the board selection is purely cosmetic. And now check this out. The character selection previously is not just for the looks. Vincent and Keith are a bit faster than all the other characters here, not that they would bother to mention it. This is really one of the oddest things I've ever seen in a video game. I mean, statistics for your vehicles that are only fake? What is going on here? Once you made your choices, the race can finally begin. The controls are pretty simple, which I appreciate. Besides the cursor keys, there are only 2 additional ones you have to remember: Control to jump and Shift to make sharp turns and adjust your board mid-air. By the way, you can change the controls in the option menu, as you probably expect, but there is a small issue with that. After restarting the game, all your changes are reverted back to the default ones. And yes, I have already tried to boot this thing up in administration mode, with no luck. So unless you want to change them every single time, it is best to just leave them as they are. While the controls might be easy, it can be a huge undertaking to not fall flat on your face. Although Supreme Snowboarding is just an arcade racer, it takes a lot of skill to master. This is not your Mario Kart, where you can just cheat your way to victory with a blue shell. Mistakes are punished severely. As soon as you kiss the ground, it can take a while until your avatar gets back on his feet. This is in strong contrast with your current Mario Kart 8, where consequences are almost non-existent. I mean, Mario Kart was never really the most challenging video game franchise out there, but Nintendo found a way to set the bar even lower. And I'm not just talking about the option to make your car drive and steer by itself. If you fall into the abyss there, then Lakito will pick you up in an instant and put you back down on the track without any time wasted. I'm absolutely no fan of that system. A certain amount of challenge needs to be in a video game. These chasms are not just there for fun and need to be avoided. But everything is different in our snowboarding game. Making a mistake near the finish line could award you with the last place. Luckily, the AI is also making mistakes. Rarely, but it happens, which gives you a fighting chance. Now the best thing would be to not fall in the first place. This works primarily by using the goddamn shift key. I think the reason why I completely failed in this game as a child was because I never really put much attention to that key. But make no mistake, it is vital that you use it. You need to adjust your board in the air so you come back down parallel to the ground. After playing for a while, this happens intuitively and makes the game kinda special. The thrill of speed you can get here is also not to be overlooked and can put up with classics like Burnout or F-Zero once you slice down with over 100 km per hour. Even more impressive are the jumps from great high that can sometimes lead to rapid heartbeating. I can tell you, this game gives you one hell of an adrenaline rush and I don't want to have it any other way. Besides the races, there's also the pipe and air mode. In the former, you try to accomplish as many tricks as possible before you enter the finish line, similar to the Tony Hawk games. This works by holding down the jump key and pressing one or two of the arrow keys. When your character ascends, he will try to mimic the moves. In addition to that, you can also hold down the Alt key to grab your board and perform additional tricks. But I have to admit that I'm a complete failure in this mode. Maybe I'm missing something, but once your character jumps up, you have barely any control left of him. And then there is the air mode. In this, you have to perform your best technique in a single jump. Needless to say that I'm also terrible at this. This only works randomly for me, and that is pretty much all I have to say to these modes. They exist, but let's get back to the races. You can also participate in a championship, but this is really rudimentary. You start in the easy courses and climb your way up to the hard courses by winning races. The major difference between the arcade races is that you have to complete a short qualification before the actual one. Depending on the results, the game determines your starting position, but don't worry too much. You can always save and go back if you fucked up. This happens even more seamlessly in the arcade mode. By just pressing F5, the whole race will be reset. This happens instantly with no loading screen or similar attached, so the moments of frustration will be reduced to a bare minimum. All in all, this game is really addictive. Soon you will find yourself trying to improve your driving skills for that perfect run. And sometimes you get some excellent goosebump moments when you race head on head with an opponent toward the finish line.
Nani? Do it, you bitch! Do it!
And once again we come to the graphics. This is always a subjective matter. For me, Supreme Snowboarding is a double-edged sword. The draw distance is really abysmal. The landscape terraforms right in front of your eyes. This isn't pleasant to look at. In addition, the textures also look very pixelated. But this is on me for playing this game in software mode. Sadly, I couldn't get this working in 1080p by selecting any other graphic component. In OpenGL, which the fans had also suggest using, the game looks smoother, but I could only play it in a 4:3 resolution. On the other side, we have the lighting effects that still hold up. Especially at night, the game can be very atmospheric when part of the route is wrapped in a purple light. You can also change the day of time and weather conditions before going down, be it in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, or as mentioned in the night. Depending on your settings, the levels can have a very different mood. This is even more amplified by all the different locations you are going to visit. You will race from the top of a village to the bottom, make your way through an ice cave or rattle through a canyon. In terms of variety, this game gets you covered. What is also very interesting is how wide and open most tracks are. You can find many secret passages, so don't focus too hard on your minimap. For example, if you jump at the beginning of this forest level over this bridge, you can continue driving on a river that eventually leads to an open landscape. Even the AI do not go down this route. Finding all the different ways to come down is the most fun part of this game. If I woke your interest, then please note that this is still abandonware and hasn't been re-released for digital stores like GOG. This would be the perfect game for this platform, especially because the community is still quite active. If you go to the Hall of Fame at the Supreme Snowboarding fan site, you can download ghost files from other people. Some of those are even from 2022. Last but not least, we have the music. These are specially composed indie rock songs. You can always change the current playing track in game. But what I kinda miss is some information about the current song that is playing, much like in the Burnout games. Otherwise, you have to rely on YouTube to find the name of these songs. Nevertheless, there are some good ones to be found here, especially I Am on TV. And with that, we reached the end of this review. In my opinion, this game deserves a lot more attention than it currently has. It is easy to get into, but hard to master. Your own skill level is what matters the most. I wish the developers would make a remaster of this game. All they need to do is improve the draw distance, add real widescreen support, an online mode, maybe split screen, and a qualified map editor to make this game legendary. But after all, one can still dream. And if you liked this review, then please check this game out for yourself. It shouldn't be too hard to find, but if you do, make sure to download the fan add-on from the fan site, which makes it runnable on Windows 10 and also fixes some bugs. And with that, thank you for watching, and maybe until next time.